Jake Morrison stood in the middle of the huge room and looked around at all the alien faces staring back at him. The Galactic Council chamber was bigger than a football stadium, with hundreds of different species sitting in tall chairs that went up to the ceiling. Some aliens looked like giant bugs, others like walking trees, and some had tentacles instead of arms. But they all had one thing in common today. They all wanted to control humanity. Jake had been Earth's ambassador to the galaxy for 10 years. He had seen wars end and planets saved. He had watched human soldiers die to protect alien worlds. He had seen human doctors work day and night to cure diseases that killed millions. Now these same aliens wanted to put chains on humanity. The High Chancellor Vexthari stood up from her crystal throne. She was tall and thin, made of what looked like living glass. Her voice rang out across the chamber like a bell. "The vote is finished," she announced. "By a count of 412 to 38, the Council has decided. Humanity must give us 30% of their warships. They must also let us control all their new technology. This starts in 3 days." Jake felt his hands turn into fists. Around the room, he could see the faces of species that humans had saved. The Altarians were there, looking down at their hands. Just 2 years ago, the Void Plague had almost killed everyone on their world. Human doctors had worked for months to find a cure. They had saved 12 billion lives. Now the Altarians voted to chain their saviors. The Zentarians sat in their section, wearing their fancy robes. Jake remembered when their whole star system was hit by solar storms. Human engineers had built new cities for them underground. They had given the Zentarians technology to protect their people. Now they too voted against humanity? "You're making a big mistake," Jake said. His voice was quiet, but everyone in the room could hear him. "We have bled for this galaxy. We have died for people who now want to put us in chains." A huge alien, covered in armor, stood up. This was General Vekmal from the Korvan Empire. His people looked like walking tanks with thick skin and 4 arms. "Humanity grows too strong," he shouted. "Your kind takes over by helping others. You make them need you. This is wrong." Jake almost laughed. "Take over? We have never asked for anything but friendship. We have shared our technology for free. We have protected worlds that could not protect themselves. We only wanted to be treated as equals." "You lie," another alien called out. This one looked like a giant spider. "You give help, but then you control. You make others weak." "Weak?" Jake's voice got louder. "When the Zephyrian plague hit your world, who found the cure? When the Dark Fleet attacked your colonies, who fought them off? When your people were starving, who brought food?" The spider alien did not answer. Jake looked around the room. "For 300 years, humans have answered every call for help. We have fought wars that were not ours. We have cured diseases that did not affect us. We have built defenses for worlds that gave us nothing in return. And this is how you repay." "U.S.?" High Chancellor Vexthari hit her staff on the floor. "Enough. The decision is made. Humanity has 3 days to agree." Jake picked up his papers from the table. He had brought charts and numbers to show how much humanity had helped the galaxy. Now he saw it was all useless. These aliens had already made up their minds. "Then let me make something clear," Jake said. "Humanity will not give up our ships. We will not let you control our technology. We will not be your slaves." The room became very quiet. Even the translators stopped beeping. "You will obey," General Vekmal said. "Or the galaxy will make you obey." Jake smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "The galaxy? You mean the same galaxy that calls us when pirates attack? The same galaxy that begs for help when new diseases spread? The same galaxy that cannot win a war without human soldiers?" He walked toward the door. "You want to know what real power is? Real power is not having the biggest guns. It is not having the most ships. Real power is being needed. And right now, you need us more than we need you." "Where are you going?" the Chancellor asked. Jake stopped at the door and turned around. "Home. Humanity is done with the Galactic Council." "We quit!" The room exploded with noise. Aliens were shouting and arguing. Some were demanding Jake come back. Others were calling for human ships to be attacked. but Jake Morrison was already walking down the long hallway. His footsteps echoed off the walls like drum beats. In his pocket, his communicator was already sending the signal to every human ship. And stationed in the galaxy. The message was simple: pack up. We're going home. Behind him, the shouting in the chamber got louder. Some aliens were starting to realize what they had just done. But it was too late. For the first time in 3 centuries, humanity was walking away from the galaxy. As Jake reached his ship, he looked back at the council building one last time. It was a huge structure made of metal and glass, representing the unity of thousands of species. Soon it would represent something else. It would represent the biggest mistake the galaxy had ever made. Jake got into his ship and started the engines. As he flew away from the council world, he sent one last message to the Chancellor. You wanted to know what happens when humans are not in charge? You are about to find out. The small human ship disappeared into hyperspace, leaving the council world behind. In the chamber, the aliens were still arguing, still shouting, still making demands, but there was no one left to listen. The age of human protection was over. The age of galactic regret was about to begin. Admiral Lisa Carter sat in the command chair of the UN's Defiant, the biggest human warship in the galaxy. Around her, the bridge crew worked at their stations, but she could see the worry in their faces. The message from Ambassador Morrison had just come in. After 300 years, humanity was leaving the galaxy. Admiral, her communications officer called out. We have incoming messages from 17 different alien governments. They want to talk. Lisa shook her head. No more talking. Send the withdrawal order to all human ships and stations. We're going home. She pressed the button that connected her to every human vessel in the galaxy. This is Admiral Carter speaking. To all human forces, execute Protocol Omega immediately. Pack everything we can carry. Leave nothing behind that can help them. We are done here. Across the Kepler defense grid, the largest space station humans had ever built, lights began going out one by one. The station had protected 5 star systems for 200 years. It had stopped 3 major wars and countless pirate attacks. Now Captain Ben Harper was shutting it down forever. Sir, his chief engineer said, the aliens are asking why we're powering down the defense systems. Ben looked out at the stars. Because it's not our job anymore. They wanted us gone. Now they get what they asked for. The defense grid that had taken 50 years to build went dark in 3 hours. The alien ships that had been protected by it suddenly found themselves naked in space, with no shields between them and the dangers of the galaxy. In the Zentarian system, Dr. Amy Rodriguez was packing up her medical research. She had spent 15 years working on cures for alien diseases. Her lab had saved millions of lives. Now she was putting everything into boxes and loading it onto human ships. Doctor, her Zentarian assistant said, please don't take the research. My people need it. Amy looked at the young alien who had worked with her for 5 years. Your people voted to control us. They said we were dangerous. Well, now you get to find out what dangerous really means. She sealed the last box of research data. Inside were cures for 12 different diseases that killed aliens. The Zentarians would never see them again. At the agricultural colony of New Geneva, thousands of human farmers were leaving their homes. The colony had fed 3 different alien worlds for decades. The humans had turned dead rocks into green planets full of food. Now they were taking their knowledge with them. Commander Rick Stone watched the last transport ship take off. What about the alien populations? His aide asked. Without our food, they'll starve. Rick's face was hard. Not our problem anymore? They made their choice. The Altarian government was sending message after message to the human ships. They were begging the humans to stay. Their world depended on human-grown food. Without it, 12 billion people would go hungry, but the human ships kept leaving. In the Corvan system, the humans were shutting down the Void Plague Research Station. The station had kept the deadly disease locked away for over a century. General Thekmal, the same alien who had voted against humanity, was now sending frantic messages. You cannot leave the plague station unmanned, he transmitted. If containment fails, billions will die. The human response was cold. You said we were too controlling. Now you can control it yourselves. The massive research station powered down. The alien scientists who worked there watched in horror as systems they didn't understand began shutting off. The humans had built everything. The aliens had just followed. Orders. Captain Helen Foster was the last human to leave the station. As she walked to her ship, she saw the alien scientists trying to figure out the controls. They pressed buttons and typed commands, but nothing worked. The human systems were too advanced for them. Please, one of the alien scientists begged. Show us how to maintain the containment, Helen kept walking. Figure it out yourselves. You're so smart, you shouldn't need human help. All across the galaxy, the same scene was playing out. Human. Ships were leaving, human stations were shutting down. Human colonies were being abandoned. And everywhere, aliens were starting to panic. The Zentarian Chancellor sent a message to Admiral Carter. Admiral, we can negotiate, we can find a middle ground. Lisa's response was short. You had 300 years to find middle ground. You chose to bite the hand that fed you. Now eat by yourselves. On the planet Zarian, humans had built a shield generator that protected the world from solar radiation. Without it, the planet would be uninhabitable. The human engineers were now taking the generator apart piece by piece. Stop, the Zarian governor begged. Our people will die without the shield. Chief Engineer Bob Martinez looked up from his work. Should have thought of that before you voted to chain us. The shield generator was loaded onto human ships. Within hours, the planet would be bombarded by deadly radiation. The Zarian people would have to evacuate their homeworld. At the Titan mining station, humans were destroying equipment they couldn't take with them. The station provided rare metals that dozens of alien civilizations needed. Without it, their technology would start failing. Why are you destroying it? An alien worker asked. We could run it ourselves, the human supervisor laughed. With what? Knowledge? You don't even know how to turn it on. The mining equipment was blown up. Decades of human engineering vanished in a few explosions. Back on the ends Defiant, Admiral Carter was receiving reports from all over the galaxy. Every human ship and station was following orders. They were leaving nothing behind that could help the aliens. Ma'am, her intelligence officer reported, we're getting reports of panic on several alien worlds. Food shortages are starting. Defense. Systems are failing. Medical supplies are running low. Lisa nodded. Good, maybe they'll learn something. The last human ship left the Altarian system just as the sun was setting. On the planet below, alien families were already rationing food. The abundance they had enjoyed for centuries was coming to an end. As the human fleet gathered at the edge of known space, Admiral Carter sent one final message to the Galactic Council. You wanted independence from human influence. You now have it. Don't call us when your worlds start dying. We won't answer. Human ships jumped into hyperspace, leaving the galaxy behind. For the first time in 3 centuries, there were no human ships protecting alien worlds. No human doctors curing alien diseases. No human engineers fixing alien problems. The galaxy was on its own, and in the darkness of space, something was watching. Something that had been waiting for this moment for a very long time. 3 months had passed since the humans left the galaxy. The Galactic Council thought they would be fine without human help. They were wrong. The attack came at dawn on the planet Corvin Prime. General Vekmal was eating breakfast when his aide burst into the room. Sir, we have a problem. The hegemony is attacking. Vekmal dropped his food. The hegemony was a group of war-loving aliens from the edge of the galaxy. They had been quiet for decades, but now they were moving fast and hitting hard. How many ships? Vekmal asked. Over 2,000, sir. They're using bioweapons. Our shields can't stop them. Vekmal ran to his command center. On the screens, he could see hegemony ships attacking his planets, but these weren't normal weapons. The bioweapons were like living things that ate through metal and spread like diseases. Get our defense fleet ready, Vekmal ordered. So we already sent them. Half our ships are already destroyed. The bioweapons are eating through our hulls. Vecmal watched his ships die on the screens. The hegemony weapons were too advanced. They adapted to every defense the Corvans tried. In the old days, humans would have helped. Human doctors knew how to fight bioweapons. Human engineers knew how to build shields that could stop them, but the humans were gone. In the Zentarian system, Admiral Zekta was facing the same problem. His fleet was being destroyed by weapons he didn't understand. The hegemony ships moved like ghosts, appearing and disappearing at will. "Contact the other council fleets," Zektel ordered. "We need help." His communications officer looked scared. "Sir, the Altarians are under attack too, so are the Zirians. Everyone is asking for help, but no one has any to give." Zektel felt cold fear in his stomach. "What about the human fleets? Can we contact them?" "Sir, all human communication channels are blocked. They won't talk to us." The Zentarian admiral watched another of his ships explode. The hegemony was winning everywhere. Without human technology and tactics, the council fleets were helpless. On the planet Altaria, things were getting worse in a different way. The Void Plague Research Station had been shut down for 3 months. The alien scientists who worked there had tried to keep the systems running, but they didn't understand human technology. Director Valandra stared at the warning lights flashing on her control panel. "How long before the containment fails?" She asked her assistant. "Maybe 6 months, sir. The human systems are too complex. We don't know how to fix them." Valandra felt sick. The Void Plague had killed billions of people a century ago. Only human science had stopped it. Now the containment was failing and they had no idea how to fix it. "Send another message to the humans," she ordered. "We already sent 100 messages, sir." They don't answer. On the farming world of New Geneva, the alien colonists were starving. The humans had taken all their advanced farming equipment when they left. The aliens tried to grow food the old way, but the soil was too poor. The weather was too harsh. Without human technology, the planet couldn't feed its people. Families were eating 1 meal a day. Children were getting sick from hunger. The hospitals were full of people who were slowly dying from starvation. The planetary governor sent desperate messages to the Galactic Council. "We need food shipments from other worlds. Our people are dying." But other worlds were having their own problems. The Zirians had to abandon their homeworld when the human shield generator was removed. The Corvans were fighting for their lives against the hegemony. Everyone needed help, but no one could give it. In the council chambers, emergency meetings were held every day. Chancellor Vexthari looked tired and scared. The crystal that made up her body was getting darker, like a light going out. "Report," she said to her military advisor. "Bad news, Chancellor. The hegemony has taken 5-star systems. Our fleets can't stop their bioweapons. We've lost over 300 ships." "What about the plague containment?" "Failing on 12 worlds. We estimate 6 months before total breakdown." "Food situation?" "Famine is spreading. 37 worlds are reporting food shortages. Without human agricultural technology, we can't feed everyone." Vexthari looked around the chamber. Many seats were empty. Some representatives couldn't come because their worlds were under attack. Others were dead. "What about contacting the humans?" she asked quietly. "We've tried everything, Chancellor. They've blocked all communication. It's like they don't exist anymore." Ambassador Kolthara from the Altarian system stood up. He looked angry and scared. "This is your fault, Chancellor. You pushed for the vote to control humanity. You said they were dangerous. Now look what happened." "I was trying to protect the galaxy," Vexthari replied weakly. "Protect it from what?" "From the people who saved us over and over again. From the people who asked for nothing but friendship?" Other ambassadors started shouting. The chamber filled with angry voices. Everyone was blaming everyone else, but the truth was simple. They had driven away the only people who could help them. On the planet Zarian, now a refugee camp in space, the former governor was recording a message. "To anyone who finds this record, learn from our mistake. We had guardians who protected us for 3 centuries. They asked for nothing but respect. We gave them fear and jealousy instead." He looked out at the crowded refugee ships. "The humans offered us partnership. We demanded their surrender. They offered us their strength. We called it weakness. They offered us their knowledge. We called it control. The recording ended as another ship full of refugees arrived. The Zarian people were now homeless, scattered across the galaxy, begging other worlds for help. In the Corvan system, General Vekmal was preparing for his final battle. The hegemony had surrounded his homeworld. His remaining ships were damaged and outnumbered. "Sir," his aide said, "maybe we should surrender." Vekmal looked at the enemy ships on his screen. "No, we fight until the end. It's the only honor we have left." He thought about the humans he had insulted in the council chambers. Ambassador Morrison had warned them this would happen. He had told them they were making a mistake. But Vekmal had been too proud to listen. Now his people would pay the price. Across the galaxy, the same story was playing out. Worlds were falling to the hegemony. The plague was spreading. People were starving. And somewhere in the darkness, the humans were watching, but not helping. The galaxy was learning what life was like without its protectors. And it was dying. 6 months after the humans left, the galaxy was dying. The hegemony now controlled half of all known space. Their bioweapons had destroyed entire fleets and turned once green worlds into dead rocks. No one could stop them. General Vekmal stood in the ruins of his command center on Corvan Prime. Through the broken windows, he could see hegemony ships landing in his capital city. His people were being loaded into slave ships. His proud military was defeated. "Sir," his last remaining aide whispered, "we could try to contact the humans one more time." Vekmal laughed bitterly. "Why would they help us?" "I called them dangerous. I said they were trying to control us. I was a fool." Outside, hegemony soldiers were marching through the streets. The bioweapons had killed millions of Corvans. The survivors were being taken as slaves. This was the end of the Corvan Empire. "Send the message anyway," Vekmal said. "Tell the humans we were wrong. Tell them we're sorry." But the message would never be sent. A hegemony soldier broke down the door and shot Vekmal where he stood. The last free leader of the Corvan people was dead. On the planet Alteria, the Void Plague was spreading faster than anyone had expected. The containment facility had completely failed 2 weeks ago. Now, the deadly disease was killing thousands of people every day. Dr. Yelenara worked in her laboratory, trying to find a cure. She had studied human medical records for months, but she couldn't understand their advanced techniques. Every treatment she tried failed. "Doctor," her assistant said, "the plague has reached the capital city. We have maybe 2 weeks before everyone on the planet is infected." Yelenara threw her research papers on the floor. "The humans cured this disease in 6 months. It's taken us half a year and we're nowhere close to an answer." Through her window, she could see the quarantine zones growing larger every day. Soon, there would be nowhere left to run. The Altarian people, 12 billion strong, were going to die from a disease that humans had already defeated. "Keep trying," she told her assistant. "It's all we can do." But they both knew it was hopeless. Without human knowledge, the Void Plague would kill everyone on Alteria. The same disease that had been contained for over a century was now free to destroy an entire world. In the Zentarian system, Admiral Zectile was preparing for a desperate mission. The Council had decided to send a fleet to human space. They would beg the humans to come back. They would offer them anything. "Are you sure about this, sir?" his captain asked. "The humans made it clear they don't want to talk to us." Zectil looked at the reports on his desk. The hegemony was winning. Everywhere, the plague was spreading. Billions of people were starving. The galaxy needed help, and only the humans could provide it. "We have to try," he said. "If we don't, everyone dies." The Zentarian fleet jumped into hyperspace, heading for the Sol system where humans had first come from. It was a long journey, and Zectil knew they might not survive it. But they had to try. When they arrived at the edge of human space, they found something impossible. The humans had built a wall of energy around their entire territory. Ships couldn't get through. Communications couldn't get through. It was like human space was protected by magic. "Send a message on all frequencies," Zectil ordered. "Tell them We wanted to talk, but there was no answer. The human territory was silent and dark. The energy wall pulsed with power that the aliens couldn't understand. "Sir," his weapons officer said, "should we try to break through?" Zechtel thought about it. The humans had always been peaceful. Maybe they would listen if the aliens showed enough desperation. "All ships, prepare to attack the barrier," he ordered. "But use minimal power. We're trying to get their attention, not start a war." The Zentarian fleet fired their weapons at the energy wall. The beams hit the barrier and simply disappeared. It was like shooting at nothing. Then the humans appeared. Ships came out of nowhere, surrounding the Zentarian fleet. They were sleek and silent, using technology the aliens had never seen before. The human vessels made no sound and cast no shadows. They were like ghosts made of metal. "Zentarian fleet," came a voice over the communication system. "You are trespassing in human space. Leave immediately." Zechtel recognized the voice. It was Admiral Carter, the human who had commanded the defense of the Kepler system. "Admiral Carter," Zechtel said, "we need to talk. The galaxy is dying." "Not our problem," Carter replied coldly. "You made your choice 6 months ago." "We were wrong," Zechtel begged. "The hegemony is destroying everything. The plague is spreading. Billions are dying. We need your help." There was a long silence. Then Carter spoke again. "You called us dangerous. You said we were trying to control you. You voted to put chains on us. Why should we care if you're dying?" "Because you're better than us," Zechtel said desperately. "You always were. You saved us over and over again, even when we didn't deserve it. Please, don't let innocent people die because of our mistakes." Another silence. Zechtel could see the human ships moving around his fleet. They were faster and more advanced than anything the aliens had. If the humans wanted to destroy them, they could do it easily. "Go home," Carter said finally. "Tell your council that humanity is done being the galaxy's guardian. You wanted independence. You have it. Use it." "Admiral, please. This conversation is over." The human ships vanished as quickly as they had appeared. The Zentarian fleet was left alone at the edge of human space. With the energy wall still blocking their way, Zechtel slumped in his command chair. The mission had failed. The humans would not help. The galaxy was truly on its own. As his ships turned to leave, Zechtel sent one last message into human space. "We know we don't deserve your help, but there are children dying out here. Innocent. People who never voted against you. If you won't save us, at least save them." But the human territory remained silent, back in the council chambers. Chancellor Vextari received Zechtel's report. The humans had refused to help. They had turned their backs on the galaxy completely. "What do we do now?" asked one of the remaining ambassadors. Vextari looked around the nearly empty chamber. Half the council worlds were gone, destroyed by the hegemony or lost to plague and famine. The great civilization that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years was falling apart. "We prepare for the end," she said quietly. "And we hope that when it comes quickly." Outside the council building, refugees from dozens of worlds were camping in the streets. They had nowhere to go. Their homes were destroyed. Their families were dead. They were the last survivors of a galaxy that had forgotten how to survive without human protection. In the distance, ships were landing. But these weren't rescue vessels. They were hegemony warships. Even the council world, the heart of Galactic civilization, was about to fall. The galaxy's last hope was gone. The humans had walked away, and they weren't coming back. The end was near. 1 year had passed since the humans left the galaxy. The great civilization that had existed for thousands of years was almost gone. The hegemony controlled 3/4 of all known space. The void plague had killed entire worlds. Billions had died from starvation. The galaxy was burning. Chancellor Vextari sat alone in the emergency bunker beneath the council world. Most of the other leaders were dead. Their worlds had fallen to the hegemony or been destroyed by plague and famine. She was one of the last free leaders in the galaxy. "Chancellor," her aide said quietly, "we have reports from the outer systems." Vextari looked up. Her crystal body was almost black now, like a light that was going out. "How bad is it?" The hegemony has taken the Zarian refugee fleets. The last Corvan colonies have surrendered. Alteria is completely dead from the plague. We estimate that 80% of the galaxy's population is gone. Vexthari closed her eyes. 80%. Trillions of people, all dead because she had been afraid of human power. All dead because the council had chosen pride over wisdom. Ma'am, the aide continued, the remaining council members want to meet. They have a proposal. An hour later, the last 12 members of the Galactic Council gathered in the bunker. They came from different species and different worlds, but they all looked the same now. Tired, defeated, broken. Ambassador Kolthara, from what was left of the Altarian colonies, spoke first. We all know why we're here. The galaxy is dying. We have one choice left. Surrender, said another ambassador. Complete surrender to humanity. Vexthari felt her crystal heart crack a little more. They won't help us. Admiral Carter made that clear. They're done with us. Maybe, Kolthara said. But we have to try. If we don't, everyone dies anyway. The vote was quick. All 12 remaining council members voted yes. They would surrender completely to humanity and beg for mercy. The message was written carefully. It was short and simple. To the humans, we were wrong. We drove away the only people who cared about us. We destroyed the galaxy because we were afraid and jealous. Billions are dead because of our choices. We surrender completely. We will accept any punishment you give us. We will obey any rules you make. We only ask that you save the innocent. People who are still alive. They don't deserve to die for our mistakes. Please come back. The message was sent on every frequency to human space. Then the council members waited. For 3 days there was no answer. The hegemony ships were getting closer to the council world. The plague was spreading to the last clean systems. Hope was almost gone. Then the answer came. It wasn't a message. It was ships. Human vessels appeared at the edge of the council system. Not just a few ships, but hundreds of them. Massive warships and medical vessels and supply ships. The entire human fleet had come. The lead ship was the UN's Defiant Admiral Carter's flagship. She sent a message to the council bunker. This is Admiral Carter to the Galactic Council. We have received your surrender. We are here to help. Vexthari could barely speak. You came back. After everything we did to you, you came back? We came back, Carter said, but not for you. We came back for the innocent people who are dying. The children who never voted against us. The families who just want to live in peace. As the human ships moved into the system, something amazing happened. The hegemony fleet that had been approaching suddenly turned and ran. Their bioweapons were useless against human shields. Their advanced ships looked like toys compared to human warships. How? Vexthari asked. How did you become so powerful so quickly? We didn't become powerful, Carter replied. We always were. We just never used our full strength because we didn't want to scare you. We held back because we thought you were our friends. Human medical ships were already heading to plague-infected worlds. Human supply ships were carrying food to starving populations. Human warships were chasing the hegemony out of system after system. In just 1 week, the tide of the war turned completely. The hegemony found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't defeat. Human weapons cut through their bio-armor like paper. Human shields stopped their deadliest attacks. Human doctors cured diseases that had killed billions. The plague that had destroyed Alteria was stopped in days once human medics arrived. The starvation that had killed millions ended when human supply ships brought food. The hegemony invasion that had seemed unstoppable was crushed in a matter of weeks. But the humans made one thing very clear. They were not coming back as friends. President Karen Mitchell, the leader of humanity, arrived on the council world in a massive ship that dwarfed every other vessel in the system. She met with the remaining council members in the ruins of their great chamber. You surrendered to us, she said simply. That means we're in charge now. Do you understand? Vexthari nodded. We understand. We will obey. Good. Here are the new rules. The Galactic Council is dissolved. Earth will govern the galaxy directly. All military forces will be under human command. All technology development will be supervised by human scientists. Any world that doesn't like these rules can leave the galaxy." The alien leaders said nothing. They had no choice but to agree. "However," Mitchell continued, "we're not tyrants. We won't enslave you or hurt innocent people. We'll protect you, feed you, and heal you. But we'll do it our way, without asking for your permission." Over the following months, human forces restored order to the galaxy. The hegemony was defeated and scattered. The plague was cured everywhere it had spread. Starvation ended as human agricultural ships restored food production, but it was a different galaxy now. Human ships patrolled every system. Human governors ruled every world. The aliens who had once been equals were now subjects. Some aliens complained about human rule. They said it was unfair. They said they wanted their freedom back. The human response was always the same. You had freedom. You used it to nearly destroy the galaxy. Now we're in charge. Most aliens didn't complain. They remembered what life was like without human protection. They remembered the plague and the starvation and the hegemony attacks. Human rule was strict, but it was better than death. Chancellor Vextari, now just a minor administrator on her own world, often thought about the choice they had made. They had been offered partnership with humanity. They had chosen to try to control their protectors instead. The result was that they lost everything. In her final report, she wrote, "We learned too late that power shared is power multiplied. The humans offered us their strength as partners. We demanded it as subjects. We got what we asked for. The galaxy was safe again. But it would never be the same. The humans had walked away once. They came back as rulers, not friends, and everyone knew they would never walk away again."